What's up, Akwasi?
How are you?
Welcome.
Welcome everyone to Your Mate Podcast,
Yes.
episode I think 4
now.
Wow,
Racking them up, man.
time's flying.
How
Man.
exciting is that?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Time is really flying.
I always look forward to it. I'm like,
Me
oh
too.
man, can't wait. Let's talk about this. I want to talk about everything.
We need to unpack, unload, man.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I saved most of my conversations for this podcast. So that shows how lonely I'm becoming, man.
How
It's really
interesting is,
messed up.
I mean, sometimes we have a conversation and we're like, no, stop.
Yeah, shut up. We actually do that.
Stop talking right now.
Don't text anymore on
No.
the thread. I need to hear about it on the podcast. Priorities, man. Priorities.
The guest that we have in the studio today, I said the same thing.
Yep.
We're driving.
Don't say anything.
Stop
Don't say
talking to me.
anything.
Why are you talking to me?
I'm surprised that dude didn't open his mouth.
Oh, he tried.
That guy can be the worst. Just saying. No, but it's gonna be exciting. We for once we have a guest today. Although I'm acting like we've had 50 episodes and we've only had 4 episodes, so bear with us. We're gonna have more exciting guests coming soon. I'm sure because this podcast is awesome. It's getting some traction. Thank you for everyone out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Keep listening. Keep downloading. Make sure you rate. But
I'll say this at the end, but the best way to support us, I'll say it now and later, the best way to support us is to subscribe and also tell a friend or 10.
Yes.
That's all you need to
Yes.
do. We don't need anything else from
Absolutely.
you. Just tell us as many people as you can.
Yes. Please spread
If
the
you
word.
enjoyed it.
Spread
I'm
the
sure
love.
you did, but yeah.
Guaranteed you did. We're like the most interesting people on the planet.
Subscribe.
Like, what the hell? And rate. If you're on Apple Podcasts, we'll talk about this more at the end, but just rate 5 stars. That does big things for us as well. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So what's
so-
been happening?
Man, this COVID time, it's like it's been very complicated navigating stuff, right? So because it's difficult to get stuff done, and I think a lot of agencies are taking a little bit of a lease on being a bit laxed about stuff.
What do you mean by agencies?
So I'm going to talk about property managers specifically.
Okay. What about them?
So I think based on the conversations we've had, there's good and bad examples of what's been going on with property managers. All I can say is I feel like I'm being bent over and pounded by my property manager all the time.
But that's exactly how you like it.
Yeah, but preferably from pegging from my wife, that's a different story.
Wow.
Than being screwed by a property manager.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
So-
Keep it in the family.
If any of my family members who heard that, I don't peg. So
Like we said last night.
but really, so we have a property management company.
Yeah.
I won't call them out. because
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just-
don't. Yeah.
But it's been complicated because we've had some stuff going on at the house, some stuff breaking apart. I mean, this house structurally hasn't been built very well. So we reached out to the property manager, and we pay extra for them to come and sort things out whenever we need stuff sorted.
What do you mean by you pay extra?
There are fees on top of like corporate fees in terms of being in this complex.
Oh.
Yeah. So we get all these
right.
extra services like gardening and blah blah
Seems
blah.
very secure.
Yeah, it's a very secure space. Seriously, like I told you, I often have left the front door open.
Don't say that. Your neighbors.
Come in. You don't know my address, but yeah, it's happened and nothing. Like, if anything, I've had a neighbor text me and say, "Hey, you left your door is like the crack open. You should come back
That's
and close
pretty
it."
cool. That's cool.
That's how safe this
That's
neighborhood
cool.
is. So it's probably not safe from COVID, but that's another different conversation because we're right in the cluster. But my property manager, we reached out to them to fix some stuff around the house. They didn't get back to us. They haven't got back to us.
How
in
long?
ages.
How long has it been?
We wrote emails almost a month ago, no response. Then we wrote another email 2 weeks ago, and I'm really nice about it to start, right?
Of course.
2 weeks ago, nothing. And then last week, I just wrote a really angry Karen-style email about time frames and what the expectation is and how we pay fees and what we expect from her. And she responded really quickly. The minute I got my Karen on, she responded quickly. But still, nothing's been sorted because the issue is we don't actually own this property. So we rely on the owners to approve. Right?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So we're essentially...
Why didn't you call earlier?
Tried to call her on the phone, never answers.
Okay.
So she specifically asked for us to go via email.
Sure.
Right?
That's her way
That's
of
her
communication.
preferred method of
That's
communication. So we email her. And yeah, no.
That would annoy me. Yeah. So what do you need fixed?
There's 2 cabinet drawers that have just like fallen off
From where? In the kitchen?
from in the kitchen.
Yep.
So I can just screw them back on. But that's what I've been doing for the past month. I screw it back on, it just falls out. I think there's something structurally wrong with them.
So it's not your fault?
No, like it's wear and tear. This is an old house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can't be blamed for some, a cheaply built old house. And where it's dangerous is because I have a baby in around the house, and if you know cabinets and bits and pieces
It's
are falling
low.
apart.
It's low, is it?
Yeah, it's low. And then also the toilet seat. I've replaced it twice myself, but it somehow is always loose. So we also got a plumber to come in and loosen and tighten the seat. But he still said that you may need to replace the entire toilet because no seat will sit will fit on.
Yeah. Did the property manager bring the plumber in, or did you?
I had to get the plumber in.
Why
we
did
had
you
to
do
get the
that?
plumber in because she said this was at the beginning of the COVID process.
Yes.
She said if you send someone in, we'll foot the bill.
Sure.
Which was fine. I'm okay with that.
Man,
and she paid it. She paid it quick too.
Sure,
So she put it straight back into my bank account like a couple of days later. It didn't take long, but this is the one time where I'm feeling like we're not being taken care of. And I get it's a different time, but this would be the time I reckon you should be taking care of your customers. You know what I mean? This is the one time you should be going above and beyond, not the opposite.
That sounds a little frustrating.
100%. Yeah.
So I've got the total opposite.
Here we go.
To what you have.
Here we go.
Like
This guy's got a charmed life, man.
now I feel
Really
that
nice
now I feel that I'm completely spoiled because I had a bit of a frustrating issue where the walls in my house was leaking. My apartment was leaking.
Whoa.
So it was seeping into the carpets, and this is about a year ago. And I called my property manager, and they called in a plumber, and then they called in some experts to sort it out.
Yep.
So I had to get out the house for a day, and they sorted it out, which was great. The very next day, or 2 days later, someone was in there.
Wow.
And other issues that I've had, a lot of little small issues that I've had as well.
They're all over it.
They're all over it. So it's very interesting that you're having that issue. However, in saying that, a year later, just 2 weeks ago, I've had to contact them again because the cracks in the walls are still there and the water is seeping again.
In through the cracks.
Through the cracks. And it's not... The carpets don't soak unless it's heavy rain.
Okay.
So right now it's kind of okay, and I've told him, listen, it's not immediate. You don't have to come fix it immediately. However, whenever the rain is heavy, I struggle, because it's right next to my bed.
Yeah.
You gotta smell the carpet as well.
Far
It's
out.
gross. It's gross. So I communicated with them. I contacted them, and right away they've had two different people come in. Oh no, they've had one person come in, and they've contacted someone else. So they've been really fast about it. And right now it looks like someone's going to come fix the walls. But, I've had to call them twice, but it wasn't their fault. They thought they had fixed it the first time.
Okay.
And I didn't complain for a whole year because it wasn't really that much of an issue. I was like, whatever. But the cabinets have actually ruined the carpet. So the movable, what do you call them? Chest drawers.
Yep.
One of them where
it
rains. So I've got two. One.
Don't tell me it's rotting.
It's not rotting, but it's cut through the carpet because of the rain, because of the water. It's literally made it cut through the carpet. That's not my fault.
Yeah, that's right.
I can do about it. So, but they've been very proactive, which has been great. I guess we've got very different.
Way to make me feel better about my situation. Man, this guy.
You deserve
it. I'm pouring my heart out. To
it is what it
my
is.
Pain.
You deserve it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Let's be real.
I do. I am an asshole sometimes.
I do think. Not sometimes. Come on, let's get real.
Whoa!
It's really sometimes. Come on.
Wow.
Let's be real. This should be called the Truth Podcast, not your mate.
You think you're friends with somebody.
You thought wrong. Oh,
right?
wait, your mate over here is struggling. Your mate over here is struggling.
That title was built for you.
For you?
You're the epitome of your mate, bro.
I saw the name. I was like, wait a minute. That's your mate. That's why. This is all about you struggling. Yeah. But that's frustrating. I totally agree with you.
Look, and the thing is, we get it. I'm a homeowner. I've been a homeowner.
Yes.
But I've always been on top of it. Anytime, if anybody has reached out to us about regarding fixing a property, you're all over it. If you're someone who cares about your tenants and wanting to keep them, so you think it would be smart to just do the right thing. Not even if you're just the agency, but if you're just a homeowner as well, you know what it's like to struggle. So just make it happen. And if you are someone who's going through hard times, then let us know. If the owner is cash poor and can't afford to fix the property, just let us know. It'll take 2 to 3 months. And then at least that way we're not sitting here. At least we're not sitting here thinking
Don't not tell me.
no one is gonna do nothing.
Don't
right?
not tell me.
Exactly.
Nothing worse than that.
That's the thing.
Open communication.
That's right.
Don't wait till a month. Don't wait till 2 weeks. Don't wait till I have to contact you the second
Give me 2
time.
days. The minute you've read that email, just respond and say we'll get back to you. At least that is good enough for me. At least I know you're on top of it instead of me having to check back in every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
to find out if something
I would have probably gone there and
just knocked on the boom.
100%.
Do the Karen thing?
I would have done the Karen thing.
The aggressive
Gone there.
thing.
I would have been aggressive. No, I wouldn't have been aggressive. I would have let them know that this is not on.
Yeah.
It's not on.
I
have to live here.
You treat them the same way you treat puppies.
But I'll tell her, look, you're happy to take my money, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're very happy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to doing what you have to do,
right,
you don't want to do it.
Judy, exactly.
No. Yeah. We're not having that.
And what's the problem? What's the point of having a property manager if they're not going to take care of stuff for you?
Cool. Let's reduce my.
Get them on it.
Let's reduce my monthly rate by $300 then,
That's a fantastic
or $400.
suggestion.
It's only fair. Make sure you get something out of this, by the way. No, seriously.
Man, this world's messed up. You
sure
think I'm going to get something out of this? No.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
you don't do your Karen properly.
Yeah, no, I
Get
don't.
your Becky and Karen on.
You know what I need to do?
It's been an inconvenience for you.
It's true.
Because
It's true.
A, B, and C. Figure it out. Say something.
I have an ace in the hole. I have a wife who's a lawyer.
Oh.
So I leave it until we get to that point. I leave it until we get to the point where it's frustrating. And then I just get her on.
What? Can you put a monetary value on anger, frustration, a month of no?
No. But look, I like to take the nice approach to start with.
So do I.
Like out the gate.
So do I.
And then when we get to a point where it's like, okay, this is ridiculous now. Do something about it. Then I'm not the person. You got to sub someone else in, and I think she's just better at that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And also she just knows the correct arguments to make. She's been taking people to tribunals for that kind of stuff for years, so she knows what it's all about.
Okay.
I'll be out of my depths, to be honest with you. So
that's why you got it.
yeah, exactly.
That's
probably the only reason I married. Lies.
D,
I
did you
love
hear this?
You know I love you. Don't love it. But yeah, that's one of the big reasons.
Yeah.
She's
got a good head on her shoulders. That's for sure.
I'm a lucky dude. That's for sure.
So today's podcast. What do we have?
We have a special guest, a very special guest.
How special?
He is extremely special to me. Firstly, he's the godfather to my daughter. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna put that out there just in case he becomes super famous.
All right, stop rubbing it in.
Stop
rubbing it in that I didn't get that gig.
Dude,
Stop,
I've known him since you were a little kid.
Oh, yeah, he's the godfather.
I only met you a couple years ago.
He's the godfather to my daughter. Yeah, thanks, man.
Stop hating. You know he's the one.
That's
he's
right.
coming.
That's
he's
right.
coming.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. That's all right.
All I'm saying
That's all right.
is, when the day you become a superstar like him,
that's fair enough.
Tag in.
He is a superstar. No, so tell us a little bit more about him.
Akwasi, this guy is amazing. I tell you, in so many ways, he's just an awesome dude to start with.
Yeah, he is.
He's got my back. He's always had my back since we were teenagers.
Yeah.
But more importantly, he's a tremendously talented actor.
Super.
He's been on stage several times. He's been in several shows such as Memphis. He was in there. What was the stripping show called?
Full Monty.
Full Monty, where he actually got naked on stage, which is something I can't wait to talk about.
Did you get your dick out?
Yep. A little bit.
All right. So basically, boards.
Yeah.
Ladies, I'm out of here. He wraps it around. Yeah, go on.
There's this incredible short film that he did. I remember. I think it was called JoJo, and that was amazing. I think he did it with the Sydney Film School. Really, really good, man.
Yeah.
You gotta check that out. That's still on his Facebook link, which we'll share on the podcast post. Really good, man.
Another friend of ours, Ryan, was the one that introduced me to Wem, and he basically a few times because I'd caught up with Ryan like when we were younger in Sydney. We lost contact, myself and Ryan and our family, because we went back to Ghana. Yeah. Then we moved to Perth, and then he was in Sydney.
Are all about yourselves.
He's in Sydney. I'm gonna ignore you. He's in Sydney, and then we both moved to Melbourne. And my dad's like, "Do you realize that Ryan's in Melbourne?" I was like, "Oh shit!" So contacted Ryan, and I caught up with you. But then Wem was a bit flaky. He hadn't turned up to a few of
Actors.
Actors. So he had to turn up to a few of our get-togethers, and Ryan was telling me a lot about Wem, and I remember seeing a photo of Wem.
Yep.
Now, every single time, the first few times I saw him, I was like, dude, is that you? Like, it was so, I was, I know.
One of him naked with
No,
he's wearing nothing.
No, I'll explain.
That's a
so
dope picture.
I saw this photo of Wem, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I kept on pointing to him. Maybe the first 3 times I saw it, I kept on going, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I'll explain.
Okay.
I'm surprised that you don't even know. It was at your wedding.
Oh, doing the fly kick.
The fly kick.
Greatest picture
So
ever.
of all time.
Seriously, dude.
Because that's how I was introduced to him. Ryan shows me the photo, and I was like, no. He shows me the photo, and I was like, who is that guy? So I'll explain. Faz's wedding is in where? Zanzibar.
Yeah.
In Africa.
Yep.
And what happened?
You're welcome to the guests. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
So, you know how weddings, you know, the photographer might say, everybody jump up, everyone in the bridal party jump up.
Yeah.
And so at this particular time, you guys all jump up and everyone's doing their own thing. Ryan has a pretty cool, very good one.
Boy Toby did the
And-
little hat with the. That was
Yes,
good.
yeah. Oh, there was a dude who jumped up with a hat and he kind of did that.
Yeah, showing off his athleticism.
Exactly. For those just listening, he kind of pulls his hat off.
Yeah.
He's in midair and it's like, good day to you.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
that kind of a look. And there's one dude,
Best.
which is
So
Wem.
good.
He jumps in the air, right? And he's done this karate kick in the air. And he's so high.
Yeah.
And whenever I see that photo, I look at it and go, how did he land? Because he's not a karate dude. And I'm like, it was just insane. It was extremely athletic. He jumps in the air and it was possibly the best thing I've seen. And I looked at that photo over and over and I was going, who's that guy?
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, it's Wem. That's Wem. That's the dude I was telling you about.
Makes sense now.
Makes sense.
Now that you know the person, you know it matches
Yes.
the picture, right?
Yes, that was
100%.
That was really
Actually,
cool.
we'll post that picture on the.
You have to
show that.
You have to.
picture.
That was one of the best photos I have seen.
Definitely.
So we'll post that photo for you guys to see.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah.
Yep. So anyway, my friend, one of my besties, talented actor, stage,
The fantastic.
future superstar, the fantastic
Wem.
Wem.
I can't hear the clap. I can't hear the clap.
Continue on.
I can't hear the clap. Where's the standing ovation, my man?
Get in
Good to
there, man.
see you, brother. Thank you very much.
See,
I'm sitting
I
there
was gonna stand up. I was
laughing
gonna
so
stand
much.
up, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
shake the whole table. So.
Oh man, I'm disappointed, man.
Yeah,
I was
I
looking
know.
for the trumpets and the
I,
sounds.
I respect you, but it's not that much to stand up for.
Yeah, man, we still got some more years to go, man. It's so good.
Have
My
you been?
man.
Have you been?
Hey, bro, I'm chilling, man. You know how it is.
Yeah.
We all in this lockdown together.
Yeah.
It's well, for those of us in Victoria, man, it's getting crazier because at one stage it's going down, and then the next stage, you know, it spikes right up again. Just trying to keep ourselves sane, going. And as you know, man, a lot of what I do is on the performing side of things,
Yes.
performing art side of things,
Okay.
and entertainment is essentially locked down.
Yeah. How's that affected you?
Oh man, a lot, man. For one, I had a tour. I was supposed to be on tour for the rest of the year,
Yes.
for the whole of this year.
Yes. Tell us about that show.
So the show is called, a theatre production called The Sapphires, and it's actually an Australian play.
Yes.
About three, actually there were four sisters
Yep.
who went out to Vietnam during the Vietnam War in the 60s, 70s.
Sisters.
Yeah.
Aboriginals.
Three
Sorry,
sisters, one
Indigenous
cousin.
Australian
Indigenous
sisters,
Australians.
okay, sorry.
Amazing.
Yep.
And essentially, they met this Australian manager who took them and organized a trip for them to go to Vietnam to sing and entertain the African American soldiers that were there. So I got to play an African American soldier, which is phenomenal. But apart from that, the story itself,
Yep.
you know,
Yes.
being able to, I guess, connect with our own history because
Yes.
Indigenous people, Aboriginal people, Indigenous people
Yeah.
are us.
Yes.
You know, they've gone through that same trials
Struggles,
and tribulations and struggles, and to be able to see how, you know, we've taken that story up to actually give people hope, you
Yeah.
know, has been absolutely great. So yeah, I did that last year for about 5-6 months. And I was supposed to do that again this year, but the coronavirus has definitely put
Messed
that
it up for
on
everybody.
hold.
Have they said that they're going to continue it once everything settles down? Or?
Nothing, you know, again, it's indefinite.
Sure.
We have no idea what's going to happen. At the start of this pandemic. We were hoping it was going to be for a month or 2 or 3 or whatever. And funny, it's gone to 6 months. Yeah. And the way it's looking, it's going to be
it's the rest of the year.
The rest of the year,
Yep.
yeah. And the Sapphires actually was a show that was traveling regionally across Australia, which was phenomenal because we got the opportunity to visit Australia as a whole.
Right, like rural parts, right?
Rural
That's
Australia.
cool.
It was amazing.
That's cool.
In Adelaide, Northern Territory, Alice Springs, Catherine, all those places. It was like places that I didn't think that I'd ever be to, you know what I mean? But also being able to connect with indigenous people. You know, we live in the city. Well, this is my experience.
Yes.
We live in a metropolitan environment, you know, Sydney, Melbourne, you know, Canberra, and there's a lot of civilization happening. But what we don't see a lot of, what we don't get to interact with is indigenous people. Yes, we know the stories. Yes, we've heard it, but we don't. You know, you gotta be there to experience it live. You know what I mean? Hear it from the people's mouth. Hear the experiences that they've gone through. You know, you have people that were living back in those times and what they had to experience as children and what they're still experiencing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Nuts.
It's really nuts. And as part of the production, you know, I mean, the girls, the 4 sisters are indigenous ladies, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So to be able to see them get into that space, reconnect with.
So they're actually giving the indigenous women the opportunity to act.
It's fantastic.
Good.
I think it's amazingly fantastic.
Sapphires was they made a movie of that, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was a very big movie.
It was a huge movie in this time, 2000 and, don't quote me, I could be wrong,
You don't have to be
2012, 13, 14. Yeah. But it had the Australian indigenous singer there. Please remind me of her name. Jesus Christ, this is going to be bad.
That's fine.
But we'll remember her name. We all know who
She
we're
was on
talking
Australia's
about.
Got Talent. I think she ended up being one
I know who you're talking about.
I know her name. I just have a brain freeze right now.
Yeah.
The 3 of us are like,
Don't worry, we'll put some text up with her name and stuff like that.
the indigenous lady that we all should know. We support indigenous causes, but
I do
that's
know
how bad we are.
We are pretty bad.
Disgraceful.
No, but apart from that, you know, I mean, it was
get that
fantastic.
info right now. Okay.
That's right. Just
So
good sapphires and just put her name.
How do you think you were received? Like in terms of a production like that, how do you think it was received in the rural areas? Were you surprised about how excited
Were they welcoming
people
to you
were,
especially?
welcoming?
I enjoyed it.
Yep.
They were very welcoming.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? It was amazing. I think that whole
Jessica
process.
Malboy.
Jessica, I knew the name.
Killing me.
You know, I'm
And-
sorry.
And
Jessica
Shari
Malboy. There we go.
Seven?
Jessica
I said that, didn't you guys hear?
Yeah, that's what you said.
I said Jessica Malboy, and you guys are like, no, it's not. I'm gonna look it up. That's exactly what.
I just wanted to make sure, man.
I don't even know. Okay, that's all. Okay, as long as you just want to make sure that's
I
fine.
haven't had enough coffee yet. This is about him, not about you.
Well,
today,
I did
right?
say that. Listen.
All right.
I know we all in the same
Wem,
boat, man. Because I
ignore
didn't
this
remember her name, which is really
motherfucker.
bad. But
Yeah.
Jessica Malboy is the one.
Jessica.
Everybody,
So you were saying it was well received.
It was, you know, man. It was a great experience for me personally because I got to really understand, you know, the indigenous people a little bit more.
Okay.
You know, they saw me as a brother, you know what I mean, as a sister, you know what I mean, as part of the same family. We're able to connect on that level. And I guess, you know what I mean, having a very similar story with the African Americans or what the Black Lives Matters issue right now,
100%.
you can kind of sympathize, understand, empathize, and you know what I mean, really understand what's going on. And you know, I thought it was great, and I thought it was fantastic that we could get music. You know, I mean, we could get storytelling. To share, you know, with the rest of the world, and it was good because we'd go out to big theaters where we'd meet the city people and the folks coming in for entertainment and all that stuff, which was fantastic and great. But then we got to the regional areas and actually do the shows for people in the communities that actually meant something to them. We went to one of the places we visited where it was the actual place the girls came from. Which was fantastic. It was a little place in New South Wales, and we did the show there, and you could tell that it meant something for them because they knew these people, they knew the story, they followed the movies, they followed the Vietnam War, and so for them it was something else, you know what I mean, and just to be part of that was, you know what I mean. So yeah, you know what I mean. It's been a great opportunity.
Was it a musical as well?
Yeah, it was. It's Predominantly a musical. That's
Predominantly
right.
a
Yeah,
musical.
I didn't get to sing, but I can sing. But it was more about the girls. So it's very, very similar to Dreamgirls. If any of you have seen or heard
Yes.
about that,
Yeah.
you know, Beyonce one and
Oh,
Jennifer
right,
Hudson.
right,
That's
right,
right.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Jessica,
So
Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson,
Yeah, that's right.
you know what I mean? And a lot of the songs there were, a lot of the songs that they sang were songs from really strong, powerful American female artists.
From
Aretha
the
Franklin.
Motown.
Absolutely. Very
Yeah.
Motown. Very, very Motown.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was for sure a fantastic experience. Fun times.
What about the singing? How do you go? Like, 'cause I know the first time you sang was on the Full Monty, right?
Yeah, the Full Monty. Yeah, man, that was awesome.
How do you go? How did you go? How? Because I know you're not a singer because you're an actor. But then how did you feel about starting to sing and in terms of your confidence and practice and all that stuff? How did all that work?
Yeah, well, I knew I had to do it. You know what I mean? If you want to be in the industry, you got to be able to hit the standards, you know. And when I kind of got in, you know, obviously I'd done a few amateur gigs before getting to the Full Monty. And you see you have to be a triple threat nowadays. You got to be able to sing, dance, you know, and act. And so going into that space, and for me, it was always a challenge. Sorry, it was always something to challenge myself with. And so going into a space where I was kind of like, okay, it's not just about the acting. I actually have to dance naked to start off with.
Oh, yeah.
And that was challenging, but then the singing.
From head to toe naked.
Yeah, I mean, we did have
G-string
a
or
little,
whatever on it.
yeah, a little string, you know, I mean, for a little part of it, but there was like a 6 to 10 second space in the actual show where we all went straight up naked.
Big finale.
Big finale,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. We had the lights
Literally
and everything.
big
happening.
finale.
It was, look, that was actually a very crazy, amazing time of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was one of the best experiences of my life. I was scared to death.
I bet you
I was
were.
nervous as hell. I never saw myself doing anything like that.
Of course, yeah.
And then you have, you know what I mean, especially for me, you know, being Africans, a lot of what I was thinking at the time was, how is this going to reflect on my Africanness? How are my parents going to receive this? What are these people going to say about? And then you realize, nah, it's about me. You know what I mean? I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's not even about, the show was not about being naked. It was more about people getting out of the comfort zone. Essentially, the Full Monty is about a couple of old fellas who lost their jobs and are looking for a way to get back into making money. Bad economy like we are right now. And they happened to go by a strip club where their wives had gone to and seen all these young men dancing and didn't understand what the fuss was about. You know what I mean? It was all about moving your body and women to give you, you know what I mean, money, sure. And so they decided to try it. And in that process, they learned that shit, stripping is actually a hard job. You know, it's not as easy as taking your clothes off. You gotta learn the moves, you gotta get the body language, you gotta be able to do a whole bunch of stuff. And so it was challenging for those characters to actually go from really conservative, traditional, strong men to funky, you know, I mean, I don't give a shit. Let's just carefree and just enjoy ourselves, which is what I did throughout that show. It was just kind of like,
but that's natural to you. That's what you like as a person.
yeah, you know how it is,
You're
man.
a funky, natural dude. That's what you
man.
are.
Thank you, man.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That is awesome.
But essentially, I guess for me, it's about being able to tell a story, you know what I mean? A story that we can all relate to, a story that, you know what I mean, empowers people, a story that gives people hope. And it doesn't really matter who you are, where you're from. You can put your mind into whatever you want to do and do it. You know what I mean? It might take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years. It don't matter.
Perseverance.
Perseverance.
Is everything. As a black actor in Australia, what's it like? Like, how is it for you?
Oh man, you know,
in the space.
In the space.
Yeah.
I'm still in that space, and you know, I mean, it's still something I'm learning about, you know, especially in Australia. It was different than what I thought it would be. You know what I mean? It's definitely had its challenging parts of things. You know, it's had its amazing, like, again, how I got into acting itself is a story. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about it.
Yes.
I essentially met somebody who thought, hey, you'd be great as this character in the play. And I was like, if you think so, you know, and I did it, and I was like, oh, this is actually different. I can do it again, you know, and I did it again, and I did it again.
How long ago was this?
My first gig was in 2012 in Canberra.
8 years ago.
8 years ago. So, you know, very soon. Next 2 years, I'll be like, shit, I've been doing this for a decade. Yeah. So I did a show. My first play was called To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
Amazing book if you've read it.
Yes.
Amazing play if you've seen it. And it's so funny
One
because
of my favorites, man.
Attica Finch.
Mr. Finch.
Finch,
You know, a lot of the issues happening then are happening right now.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I feel like we haven't moved.
It goes around and around.
Absolutely.
This is about you, though. Don't worry about the.
Don't worry about the big
calls
thing.
right now.
Absolutely.
It's about you.
But anyway,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I got an opportunity to jump on that production in Canberra. That was fantastic. I did a small bit.
Yep.
But then I, you know what I mean, got opportunities after that
Yep.
to do. I did an opera show, came down to Melbourne, did a few amateur shows
Yep.
before landing the full Monty. So, you know what I mean, I've had a bit of a ride, which has been great. In
Yep.
that sense, the experience of being able to go out, create more confidence for myself,
Yep.
do what I love doing, entertain, all that kind of stuff. But in saying that, you know what I mean, it's also been a very challenging space.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
So-
what do you think the biggest challenges are for you as a black actor?
Personally, I think it's the stereotype and the opportunities.
Okay.
You know, I think that as a country, as a nation, we need to do a lot more to include multicultural performers.
Yep.
You know, what I mean,
In terms of representation?
In terms of representation,
Cool. Yep.
the representation factor here is, you know, you could say it's maybe one-sided. You know, what I mean, a lot of the things are catered to Anglo-Saxon Australians, which is fine, not a problem.
Yep.
But we'd just like to see a little bit more inclusion.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of the things that I've done in my acting career in Australia has always been very underrepresented, or I'm always the talking black guy in a production.
Right.
You know,
Stereotypical.
very, very stereotypical.
Yeah.
And I think that we really should be trying to move to the next step of
Sure.
inclusion. You know, every character doesn't have to be the black man or the Middle Eastern man or, you know, the talking Asian guy or whatever. We can play roles as roles,
Yep.
not as
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more to your skill set than
Yeah.
than
Than that.
giving you just
Right.
a little section.
absolutely.
Then you always have to play that little section. You don't grow.
You don't absolutely. You
That's-
confine to
yeah.
that space. You confine to that box, and